up, everybody? It's the Rottweiler Patriots. I'm Vegas,
And I'm T-Bone.
and we're coming at you with another video today where we're going to be doing our Carolina Panthers Week 18 recap. The Panthers end their season on back-to-back shutout losses, falling 9-0 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and ending what has been a massive disappointment of a season for this franchise. T-Bone, let's get your thoughts on this one.
Well, the nightmare's over, I guess. That's what you could call it. The nightmare is over. It's all over. It's all done. I don't have to fear anymore. No more waking up in cold sweats. No more high blood pressure. All that stuff. This obviously was... I still don't think this was our worst season ever. I don't think so.
I think that goes to 2015.
2015 we went 15-1, baby. What you mean?
Yeah, you lost in the Super Bowl.
That doesn't mean more. That is not our worst season. No, that's a season to be proud of. That's a season to have a lot of pride in, unlike this team. No, I would break this down to either I think it's the 2001 Panthers, because they went 1-15, and they were one of two teams ever to win their first game and then lose the next 15. That other one being the 2020 Jags, I think. So, but this is obviously very close, if not the worst, because really, what's the difference between one win? I believe this is also the first team ever to never, ever be leading in a fourth quarter at all during the season. Never have we led during the fourth quarter during the season, which is just a lot. It's a lot to look at. Defensively, still a lot to applaud because, we were able to... Actually, no, let's talk about some more bad news first. Special teams, we were out. Eddie Pinheiro had a hamstring injury. So, we elevated a guy from the practice squad, and he wide lefted the kick or wide righted it, but
It was wide left.
anyways, wide left. Okay, yeah. So, that obviously not great, but our starting kicker's out. That's never fun. So, and then let's get to offense. Chuba could have been a little bit better, but honestly, he's been doing what you ask of him. He'll get you a couple yards per attempt. There's a couple times he gets stuffed and stopped, but, it's... What do you expect? He's, you're doing most of what you can ask for him. Bryce Young was not great this game, but there were a couple moves he did that shows you he's learning and he's getting flashes in the game, and shows you the high IQ that he has. Obviously, it sucks. Of course, 11-18, only 94 yards. But, it's... The offensive line is abysmal. The wide receivers are abysmal. And yes, I'm going to say that it's abysmal. I'm sorry, DJ Chark. I'm sorry, Adam Thielen. I'm sorry, Mingo. I've been trying to defend y'all. And you're worth defending sometimes. You really are. I don't think that this core is as bad as some people think. But you guys are bad. It is very imperative that there needs to be a wide receiver one, because really, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'm sounding like a broken record, but it's very, very imperative. I don't think this grouping of guys is horrible. They're very good relief position guys, I think. You just need one or two more players above them. You cannot survive an offense with Adam Thielen and GJ Chark as your wide receiver ones. You just cannot. And it didn't help that also injuries kind of riddled us a little bit. Defense, offensive line, of course, and Hayden Hurst, who may retire because he does have amnesia from the concussion he suffered during the Chicago game. So he and his family are discussing whether retirement is an option or not. So, and if that's the way it goes, I'm sorry that his career had to end in Carolina, but he did what was asked of him when he did it. So, obviously, we're a very, very injury riddled team. I don't know if we're the most injury riddled, but it really wasn't good. Besides that, obviously, offense was just not great. But I do think these are very good guys that can make plays when they need to. It's just it's proven that they cannot survive as wide receiver ones. Shout out to Adam Thielen though. Still, I think I already commented on this, but still 1,000 yards at 33 with the Panthers, not bad at all. So DJ Chark fumbled it out of the end zone, but it's whatever. It doesn't matter. It sucks, but we also had, I think it was Blackshear got the touchdown, and then that got called back for illegal formation. So yeah, offense is just, we need to get an offensive line. That's important. We need to go out and get a wide receiver one. That's important. Let's retain some of the guys on defense, because Derek Brown quietly had one of the best seasons tackle-wise that a defensive tackle ever had. He broke the record for tackles by he definitely broke it. He definitely broke the record for most tackles by a defensive tackle or a defensive end in a season since 2000. And I'm quite sure that it's of all time as well. Because we were talking about of all time versus it was weird. I read it. It was like since 2000, and then it said of all time. So I'm not quite sure. But anyways, record breaking. So it's important to see that. So our defense, if not injured completely and a little bit more competent, great. Solid. Didn't allow a touchdown. Very important.
To be fair, part of that was not your own doing. Part of that was Mike Evans' random seeming lack of hands.
Hey. But J.C. Horn did come up big with a couple of stops.
Not saying he didn't. Though. Just saying that some of it was self-inflicted by the Bucs more than it was y'all getting the stop.
Okay, well, you can shut up now. I've about had it. But yeah, that is true. We do actually need some secondary help. Jeremy Chin, because of his just flexibility, can be put in so many positions, but the problem is we don't know where to put him. So he's been kind of losing snaps a little bit, and I like him because he's a good player. It's just we need to know where to put him. Let's see what else. I definitely think we should keep Evero as our DC or head coach, but I like DC. He seems to be doing good. Obviously, you can't say we're a great defensive team if we only have 2 wins, but it is also for the fact that we have an abysmal offense. Our defense has really shined, and I like it. I like some of the pieces. We need to keep them. Hopefully not lose any in free agency, and if we do, make sure that the team that gets them really pays them what they're worth. Other than that, if we're getting rid of people, sell high. Sell high. So with that done, with that said, this was just not a great game. Horrible ending. But this is it just shows offensive line needed. I think that's the most important thing. My friend thinks wide receivers are a little bit more important. I don't think so. I did just say that we need a wide receiver one, and that's cool. offensive line is more important. I think the start of a great franchise needs a quarterback and needs an offensive line first and foremost, chiefly. So there's some things we need to look at forward to. Fourth down, I like that we're able to, in those high pressure situations, it at least shows that Bryce Young does not completely shart his britches when he needs to. Obviously, this was not a great game from him, but yeah, it just wasn't a great game. I wouldn't say it's fully on Bryce either. He had a couple of good moves, really did. So let's talk to front office. Scott Fitter, our GM, just got fired. So with that in mind, and also I believe our offensive coordinator's on the outs as well. He's been on the outs, but I think it's official now. So that's kind of the main poop in the pudding. I'm glad that Scott Fitter is gone. I had some hope because he was hyping us up this last season, but no. We need a guy, and I want to say stingy, but a guy that really, to quote Scott Fitter, we need a guy that's going to be in on every deal. That's going to be, aware and alert and making sure we don't sell stuff for bags of potato chips. So that, I think, is the most important thing, as well as a head coaching search. I'd like to go over a couple of candidates I'd be okay with. Be okay with Evero. I'd be okay with Harbaugh for sure. I'd still be fine with Wilkes, because he's from here. It's important is getting a guy that understands the culture and bringing the culture back. Now, Frank Reich talked about all his fancy words and how we'd be a Super Bowl team, a playoff team at worst, a Super Bowl team at best. And that's good, and I appreciate those fancy words. We need a guy that's competent. We need a guy that knows the Carolina culture. We need that. And that's not something we're just going to find with anyone. So I don't think we should, be interviewing Dan Quinn at all. I don't trust that at all. So we're definitely going to interview a lot more offensive coordinator guys. That's just a fact. That's what think we're going to interview the Ravens, the Rams, Lions guy, someone else too. But anyways, so with that being said, we need a GM that's really responsible and not just willing to give people bags of potato chips. That's not going to give people away for bags of potato chips and give away caviar dinners. We need a guy that's really, well aware of what's happening, what we need to do. So head coaching wise, we need a guy that really knows the culture. I think that's the most important thing. A competent guy that knows the culture. So, but I would take, like I said, I would take some good people. I'd take Harbaugh. He's been to the Super Bowl. Really, and that brings me to this. Tepper is he's just a problem. He is. He's shown that we are just a poverty franchise. I'm seeing everywhere we found our new Dan Snyder, and I fully think so. I fully think as soon as Dan Snyder stepped away, he whispered to Tepper, "I need someone to carry on my legacy," and that's what he's doing. He's carrying on his legacy. And he went out and said, "I'm not going to give up control of my team to a head coach. Never." And that's the worst thing you can say. So it just sucks because I wish we had at least a competent owner. And if not, I wish that this owner was at least, it would take a step back a little bit. I said this, I think, in the middle of the season. This is comforting at best, and just, okay at worst. I've been looking on Instagram a lot, social media. A lot of the Panthers guys are posting how, this isn't the year that we wanted or how we wanted to go, but we're gonna whatever the future holds, we're gonna stand, together, and thank you, Carolina. So, and some of them, I think that means goodbye. I'm leaving in free agency, or gonna try and get out, and some are gonna stick around. And I think at least if we're going to get the first overall pick, I'm glad we're going in with some smiles. I'm glad that we're all coming in together. So I certainly, personally for me, I don't think Bryce Young is a bust. I actually, I think I saw this somewhere. It was rank Bryce Young's rookie year, his rookie year, and with that, I'm gonna say it's a 4 or 5. Just Bryce Young's rookie year, I would say it's a 4 or 5.
Out of 10?
Because out of 10, I would say 4 or 5 out of 10. What would you say?
I would probably say 5 or 6.
Okay, all right, that's good. I like that. No, really, and I like that range because that it's it's not all on Bryce. Some of it was Bryce Young's mistakes, but some of it wasn't. Some of it was just bad coaching, bad Panther stuff. So, and really with Frank Reich had a lot of questionable coaching decisions. So, we need competency. But no, I don't think Bryce Young's a bust. I personally think, from the flashes I've seen, when we get our act together, that guy can lead us to war. That guy can lead us through battle. I do. I like that little 5'10", 5'11" so and so. I personally think he's a good quarterback. Stroud obviously played a lot better, improved more, but better coaching around him, better just personal connection, more cohesiveness. But I don't think Bryce Young's a bust. I don't think we need to go after a quarterback. Not that we, have a choice. We don't got a first-round pick, but I do. I think Bryce is our guy. I think we need to stick with him. I think that's important. So I guess the big takeaways is need a GM that really is not going to be a doofus and really, keeps his ear to the ground, needs to be in on every deal. Thank you, Scott Farrer, for that line. And it's not just going to give crap away. Not give crap away and not give crap for something that, such as, 2 first rounders, 2 second rounders. Need a head coach that appreciates the culture, knows the culture, and is competent. Big things. Big competency. I really want competency in our coaching. We need an offensive line. We need some weapons. Need better conditioning for and just recovery from our entire team, because that's how you're going to get injured. And we need to make this place look appealing, which is what we tried last year, and it went bust. So we need to make sure we need to cross our T's, dot our I's. And if something does not look like it's working out, give it a little bit of time. Don't jump into things. Don't rush. We're rushing. It's Hunger Games style culture, and that's not us. That's Tepper. Tepper's infected us. And finally, big thing, we need an attitude change from Tepper. We just need a whole different outlook. And if he's not going to give us a different outlook, we need him stepped back, big time. We're the paper bag franchise now. Our owner throws drinks at people. Are you kidding me? A fine is not going to do anything. He's a billionaire. What you need is to really start threatening him. Really, be like, you can't go at these games anymore. So I know it's a lot, but that's about it. I want to real quick before I bow out and before I hand the reins off to Vegas is Chuba Hubbard said this. He's been with us his whole career. He said, I know times are tough. It's going to be tough in Carolina, but I believe that we have something going on, and it will get better through the years. I promise you. And you just gotta wait. Just hold the faith, keep the faith, and keep pounding. And I was paraphrasing a little bit at the end, but he said something to that effect. And I think that's important. To know this is a storm, but like all storms, this one will end. It's gonna suck. But we got it. We'll handle this. We can get through this. So I think we need to keep people like him, like Chuba Hubbard, who believe and want to stay in Carolina, just like CMC, who we gave him away. But we need people like that, athletes like that, who want to stay in Carolina their whole career. And worst comes to worst, if they don't want to, at least make this place look appealing, make this place the place that people want to go. So, keep the faith. We'll get through it. We'll get through it. At some point, we'll get through it. It's gonna be rough, but we can do it. Vegas.
Well, I mean, obviously not the year y'all were hoping for by any stretch of the imagination, especially with the division being so wide open. Obviously, the offense a big issue. So big of an issue, in fact, that from the beginning of the month of December through the Panthers' final game, they scored less points than the National Hockey League's Carolina Hurricanes. The Carolina Hurricanes outscored the Carolina Panthers 62-61 during that stretch. If you're wondering how wonderful the Panthers' offensive experience has been this year. And it all starts with the offensive line, for sure. That's the number one issue that should be addressed. Obviously, sucks you don't have your top draft pick. Chicago has it. Whether or not Chicago plans on shopping it out is beyond me. But y'all definitely have a lot of work to do. And it's going to be interesting to see what Tepper does and just how the Panthers respond to this. Now, if I'm David Tepper, the first thing I'm doing is asking Cam Newton to be the president of the team. Hands down. Cam Newton has talked about how he wants to do it. He has said, make my contract incentive-based. I don't want a big paycheck. I don't care about that. I care about making the Carolina Panthers a relevant football team, building a culture and a team that is built to compete, because Cam Newton is that invested in the Carolina Panthers, because at the end of the day, the Panthers are the ones who took a chance on him. Although, I mean, that high in the draft, it's never really... It's always a chance, even if it's a top pick. It's where he found success. Where he, won an MVP, almost won a Super Bowl. And, I mean, Cam Newton, really ever since he joined the team, was always the Carolina Panthers.
He's one of our guys.
Yeah. And
I would say he's Hall of Famer.
Oh, absolutely.
For Panthers,
Panthers Hall of Fame, of course, means the greatest player to ever put on the Panthers jersey.
Yep.
And he embodies the team more than anybody else. In order for the Carolina Panthers to be successful, you need Cam Newton, in my mind. And that's what you got to do if you're Tepper. Let Cam come in as president and work his magic, and take a step back and let Cam hold you accountable when he needs to. I know accountability isn't Tepper's favorite word, but
you're telling me,
hopefully he listens to Cam.
Hopefully.
And hopefully he brings Cam in and makes this thing happen.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, if he does that, every single fan of the Carolina Panthers is going to be very, very happy. And I expect Newton to know what he's doing. And just having Newton in the building as well to mentor Bryce Young. Are you kidding me? I take that all day. All day. Especially with Young not being too terribly dissimilar from Newton in the way he plays. There's a little bit difference. Young's a little bit more of a pocket passer, and he's much smaller than Cam. But he's
not going to put his body on the line as much.
Yeah, he's still relatively mobile, shifty. Saw that a little bit in this game. Had a nice run, evaded a sack, ran it up the left side for 20, some yards.
Yep.
And,
Oh yeah.
like, at the end of the day, the Carolina Panthers are at rock bottom. This is as bad as it gets. Well, I mean, unless it's 0-17.
Don't say it. Don't say.
But
I say. Don't
it's
say
that
it.
that. But I mean, at this point, what's the difference?
Yeah. Well,
Y'all led for exactly 0 seconds this season. Or in the fourth quarter, at least, y'all did
in the
lead.
fourth quarter.
Y'all led the Dolphins for a little bit, and then y'all got destroyed.
And here's the thing: we led a couple times at half. I think 3 games we led at half by like 3 points, but still.
Yeah, but
so
in the fourth quarter, you led for 0 seconds. Both wins were game-winning field goals as time expired.
Yep.
So it's not what you want to see, and it's a team that is fundamentally broken and needs to be rebuilt from the ground up.
Yeah.
And I think it's the first move you got to make. Then it's going to be who's the right coach. Guys who I could look at as potentially being the right guy. I would rather have someone with experience than a younger coach, because a younger coach is less likely to stand up to David Tepper and put him in his place. So I would rather a guy like Steve Wilkes come in. I'd rather a guy like Jim Harbaugh come in. I think Ben Johnson would be good for Bryce Young, and if the Panthers ended up hiring him, I wouldn't hate it. But I also don't know if Johnson is going to handle Tepper the way he needs to.
Yeah.
So, there's going to be a lot going on there, and a lot dependent on how that goes. Obviously, you'll have a lot of massive decisions. Massive decisions to make.
Oh, yeah. So we do.
None of which are easy. Then again, I don't know if there is such a thing as an easy decision in the NFL. Aside from don't fire Bill. Sorry. Actually, even that one's not easy. I think it's more dumb people than it not being easy. Dumb people miss the easy stuff all the time. Sorry. Yeah. Patriots Twitter has been a miserable place for the last couple of months.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, but
I can tell.
Anyways, I mean, I think Young's the guy, but y'all actually have to give Young something to work with beyond 2 milliseconds, and Adam Thielen is your top guy. And no disrespect to Adam Thielen, he had an up year this year for sure.
Oh, he did. No,
Adam Thielen is not a number 1 guy.
No, he's a relief guy.
Y'all need a guy.
And that's okay.
Adam Thielen is a very good number 2. He is one of the best number 2s in the NFL if he continues to play the way he did this year. I think that is true. But y'all need a guy. Now, if I'm looking at guys who I think the Panthers could get, Garrett Wilson is not happy with the state of the New York Jets right now. And I could see very easily leaving the Jets. I think Garrett Wilson would actually be a great guy for the Panthers to go after.
If we can get him. Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, if not, there's other guys. There's T. Higgins, although I don't know how much I see him. I think Higgins will be very good. I mean, I want him in New England, if I'm being honest, so there's a little bit of bias in what I'm about to say next, but I don't know if he'll fit the best in Carolina.
No.
But Higgins still wouldn't be a bad option.
No, not at all.
Like, again, the number 1 guy I'm pursuing from Carolina is Garrett Wilson, for sure. I would not be surprised if he is not a New York Jet next year. I don't think he's a free agent this year, though. So if y'all want him, y'all would have to obviously do a trade. And I'm sure the Jets would want a hefty fee.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's where the GM comes in.
Yeah, I mean, the general manager definitely tough position. Again, lots of stuff to fill, and then it's always a matter of which one do you address first. Which, I mean,
It's almost
really,
exciting.
it's got to be general manager, but
It was almost exciting because last year I was like, oh, cool. We got so many positions to fill. It's almost like a new Panthers team. I can't wait to see how it goes. Oh, boy. It's almost like there's so many positions that need to be filled. It's like a new Panthers team this year. I can't wait to see how it goes. Let's hope we don't keep this trend up. As exciting as it is to see all the new friendly faces, it also sucks.
Yeah. At the end of the day, my biggest concern for the Carolina Panthers is David Tepper. Not just because Tepper is Tepper and is going to do Tepper things that screw things up, but also that Tepper is Tepper, and head coaches might look at that situation and be like, no, I don't want to go work for that guy because he's going to get in the way of everything I'm trying to do.
Yep.
So that mess is twofold in that respect.
Yep.
And so, which unfortunately makes me think that it's more likely that a guy who is going to take that job is going to be a younger buck who won't know how to put Tepper in his place. A guy who's never gotten it, like a first-time head coach or something like that.
Yeah.
Because an experienced veteran like Harbaugh's going to lots of demand. Vrabel, lots of demand.
Yep.
They're going to look at that and be like, I don't want to deal with that. Let me go over here with a much better roster and an owner who's not going to be an absolute handful. Yeah, I'll take that job. This looks much more appealing.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think a veteran's going to look at that. A guy who you come in and know, okay, he's a really good chance of turning this program around. They're not going to look at that and find it very appealing. A younger guy, though, is more likely because it's like, I want an opportunity to be a head coach. This is the team that's willing to hire me. This is an opportunity for me to advance myself. I'll take it. But then he won't know how to put Tepper in his place.
Yeah.
That's my big, big worry for y'all in this offseason. And so obviously that's going to be something that you have to closely monitor as the offseason progresses. What the next couple of weeks for Carolina is going to look like, I don't really know. I think at this point, we're going to let the season finish out, play out, let the playoffs happen, see who wins the Super Bowl, and then we'll figure out where the Panthers are from there. Obviously, we will do another Panthers video after the playoffs have ended, kind of like play an armchair GM for them.
Oh, yeah.
Which, Tebow's going to take the lead on that. I'll be taking the lead when we do that for the Patriots. And then obviously the news, whatever. We don't expect to talk about Carolina again until after the playoffs are over, unless some major news happens, whether good or bad. Like David Tepper no longer being the owner. I think that's everyone's dream.
Mm-hmm.
But if there is like a major news story that comes out, then we'll probably talk about it. But because up through this point in the season, we've just kind of used these recap videos as a way to also talk about other news regarding everything. But that's we no longer have that because season's over for both of our teams, because both of our teams are terrible! So terrible that they're the two worst teams in the NFL! Although, thanks to stupid rules, the NFL has Washington worse than us, even though they beat us. I don't even know, man. I give up. So, T-Bone, you got any final thoughts here before we wrap this thing up?
No, sir.
Alrighty then, please be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comments below. We would love to hear what you all have to say. And that is going to do it for us today. Thank you all so very much for watching. Please be sure to hit the like button. Please be sure to subscribe. And we will see you all in the next video.